Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thanks for joining us today, August 18th. Wow, so it's already halfway done with the month. August 18th, 2021, for our regular Wednesday Q&A. I think it's the second one we're doing at 6 p.m. We've moved it an hour later, 6 p.m. Pacific time, so more people around the world could fit into their schedule after work. But thank you so much for joining me. I have people trickling in already, and we're going to take your questions, general educational responses, not case specific stuff we're going to talk about. But I'm here to do it, and we always get a ton of interesting questions. So I really appreciate everyone who's following and asking these questions. Now, I want to remind people that we are giving away free 15-minute, pro bono consultations for those who like, subscribe, and comment saying consultation. And my great assistant, Kayla, will name a person off or a person who's listed every 10 minutes. So we're gonna give out 3 of these free consultations. Mohammed Sami says hi to you. Just as for the people watching live. So it's gonna be really helpful. Every week we're doing a ton of this and really help people get their case back on track, or alleviate their confusion with it, because the immigration system in the U.S. is extremely confusing. If you want to schedule a private consultation, a paid consultation, a regular one, just email me at info@jqqlaw.com. And if you're interested in a marriage green card case, the first thing you should do, or fiance case, is to download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, a free guide I wrote that has tons of information that's going to be helpful. Just go to info@jqk. I'm sorry, that's my website. That's my email. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And with that, let's get it going. All right, so we have our first question popping up. Srinivai asks, why the Texas Service Center is taking longer to process I4A5 cases? It's not the Texas Service Center per se, it's the person handling your case. There's no reason that we could come up with these stuff, but it's just things are being delayed, and it's a million and one reasons. Only thing you could do is be patient. Jimmy asks, hi, brother. Where have you been? Miss catching you live. Doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for watching again. It's from TikTok. Thanks, Jimmy. We do it every week. I haven't been active on TikTok like I used to be many months ago. I just stopped posting regularly there just because too busy. But I'm bringing on more team members. It's going to free me up to give access and to give more information out on stuff like this. So I look forward to doing more of that in the coming months. But thank you for your support. The delays that are happening in these cases are horrible. But there is somewhat of a bright news coming, in that for employment-based cases, which is a lot of people are Indian background, born in India, born in China, who have huge delays with the cases already. If they have an I-140 approved, the basics of an employment-based green card case, and they have an adjustment of status case approved or filed already, they're doing their best, USCIS says, to get these in and out and issue the green cards before the end of the fiscal year. The fiscal year for the U.S. government ends at the end of September. So they're saying every year, these employment-based cases, there's only so many of these green cards that can be approved. There's a limit. So they're trying to, get as many approved now, so they don't these visas that are green cards that are available don't go wasted. And right now, because they're not doing green card interviews in India right now, in China, because of the COVID travel ban, so many of these green cards are going unused and unused, so they're not going to get used, and they're going to expire. So they're trying their best for those who are doing adjustment of status within the United States to get them. And so what we're seeing now is getting letters from USCIS, in some cases text messages, saying, hey, do your medical and send it to us as soon as possible, so we can finish up your case and approve it. The medical is a checkup that you do as part of your green card case. And so we're getting these letters and we're sending them in. So hopefully we'll get the green cards, a lot of them approved in the next month or two before September ends. And then with that, you can expect the visa bulletin for a lot of these employment-based cases jump forward a lot too. Hopefully, we just don't know. Everything is day by day, but that's the direction it looks like it's going. So it's going to help a lot of people that are inside the United States. They're benefiting from this. If you're Indian and you're in the United States, but if you're Indian and you're outside, you're not getting many benefits at all. All right, so let's take some questions. Jimmy Khan asks, okay, good, praying for your success. Thank you for whatever you do for the community. You're welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Aya asks, what are the forms to file my mom and my son living in Nigeria? Well, I can't specify, I need to know more information to see what forms are needed. But the basics of it are, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can file for your mom. The basic form is the form I-130 to get it started. But later on, you'll need to do consular processing. And for a minor child as well, it's I-130. You want to file that before the child is 21 That's going to be very important. But the I-130 for family-based cases is the initial thing you submit if their family's overseas, whatever kind of family relationship there is. I-130 for separately, one for the mom, one for the child. And if you're getting married, you also need to submit a form I-130A. So there's 2 forms for that. And then later on, you deal with what's called consular processing. There's a form TS-260, form IA-64. There may be waiver requests needed. We don't know. And a bunch of civil documents. But that's the basics. But I can't advise you individually because I don't know all the details of your case. But thank you for your question. Srinivas follows up, once I-140 is approved, is there any difference between EB3 downgrade and straight for processing I4A5? There's some information missing there. It depends on what your priority date is at the end of the day. So that's it. But is there any difference? There's always difference. There's a different thing you're doing. So it could always create problems, things getting lost, bureaucracy having issues with it. So it's, and when you say, is there any difference? There's differences, but how important they are, it varies depending on your luck. Millionaire asks, what about asylum seekers? What about them? They are changing the rules that says when someone is, for example, at the border, when they apply for asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border, for example, they do what's called a credible fear finding. So the officers at the border feel like there might be an asylum case there. They're going to send them to immigration court for a judge to decide. This has put a lot of pressure on the immigration courts because there's huge backlog. It's a 1 million+ case backlog in the immigration court system. So what they want to do is to have USCIS immigration officers review these outside of the court context. So that's going to be interesting. I haven't read the full regulatory change that they published today about that for asylum seekers, but that only affects people that are coming to the border now and in the future. So it's like, when you say, what about asylum seekers? There's 1,000,001 things that could be about. So always just, consult an attorney about your individual case to see how anything affects you individually. Another question, a question from Umar Ba says, how long do they take to send your green card after fingerprints? The fingerprints are completely unrelated to the issuance of the green card. So there's no time relationship there. Everyone has a different kind of green card case, and it just depends on when that comes through and how busy your local office is and what country you're born in and many other factors. About golf logs, regular ask, my adjustment of status change to interview was scheduled last week, but I'm not getting the interview notice in the mail. Should I go ahead and do my medical exam, or should I wait to get the notice? If they schedule your interview, they actually schedule it, not that they're planning to schedule. If they schedule it 100%, do your medical checkup as soon as possible. You want to bring the sealed medical checkup envelope with you to the adjustment of status interview. It's important to have it there to avoid getting RFE, and in some cases they'll deny it if you don't bring it. That's very rare, but for the most part, immediately contact a doctor, do it, get all this stuff done, to have a sealed envelope to take with you to your interview. Uncle Plays asks, is there any new laws to help with overstay visas? Not per se. I mean, when you say any new laws, again, these are too general questions, but not any big ones that are happening. Now, if people who want to file asylum and so that, they can do something maybe, but there's no general laws yet for those who've overstayed. There's existing laws that can help you, but it depends on your case and your background. Richard asks, hi, JQK, or JKQ, but it should be JQK. Please, how long does it take to get an interview notice if my case status changed to ready to be scheduled for an interview? So I get this question a lot. I have a lot of videos I've done over and over again about this, but when the USCIS.gov website says that your case has changed, it says all of a sudden it pops up based on your I-485 case number, it says your case is ready to be scheduled for interview. At most, that means that your local USCIS office has the case in hand and they're looking at it. And that's the next step after that, is for them to schedule an interview for you. But when they will schedule an interview, it could be a week, a month, it could be 2 years. There's no correlation between those activities. It's whenever they're ready, they'll schedule it. So it's not a how long process, it's whenever they're ready. So it's good that the case finished the service center and I had it. The initial review seemed to be fine, didn't have any problems with that. That's good, you got for the first level of screening. But the second level of screening, it just depends on when they have time to do it. So you got to be patient and wait for them to pull it through. 29 Super C, one of our regulars. Good to see you. Hi, good night. Attorney John Khosravi. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you. Thanks for your mid-August 2021 newsletter. I do have a newsletter. If you go to like jqklaw.com/newsletter, I think it is, you subscribe to it. I try to send it out every 3 weeks. At 29 Super C is one of my newsletter receivers. You said, I noticed that the State Department didn't have a July 2021 update for immigrant and non-immigrant visas. Maybe not. I haven't checked it recently, but sometimes they've been generally delaying things. So that is an issue that's popping up. It's just general delays. But yeah, it's just hopefully it comes. But at the end of the day, they can tell you all the information they want. In your case, it's delayed. You just got to wait on them, unless you're going to file a lawsuit or something like that. Now, I want to announce our winner of the free 15 minutes pro bono consultation. When Srinivas Rao Mari asked the initial questions, you won the free consultation, 15-minute video. Just email me, take a screenshot of where you're watching this so I see where that it is your name and all that kind of stuff, not someone else, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll send you information about how to schedule a time. For those who are just tuning in, for those live watchers, we give out free video consultations, 15 minutes. You just have to like, subscribe, and write consultation, so I know you like one. And my assistant, Kayla, will choose a person in about 10 minutes or so, and we'll announce that so you get a free consultation. We got 2 more left, so another 10 minutes and 10 minutes after that. And a reminder for those interested in marriage or fiancé visa cases, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide so you get an understanding of what's going on in this process and what the strategy is behind a marriage green card case and the forms and all that kind of stuff. Just go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and you'll get in that. And if you get part of the newsletter too, once you download that too, so you'll get the newsletter, you'll be updated on what's going on with the immigration system that I publish. Thank you so much. All right, who's next? Mohammed asks, what is the last step for the green card renewal? And is it normal that it says after a week the decision is going to come, or there is something? Well, your question is not really clear. I'm not sure what you're talking about when you say there is something or going to happen. There's different kind of green card renewals. That there's a removal of conditions for a 2-year green card. Then there's a regular 10-year green card. There's no last step. You file it. You may or may not need to do a biometrics. They may or may not do a request for evidence. There may or may not be issues that lead to a denial or a notice of intent to deny, or you get approved and you get the green card. So the question way it's worded doesn't really get at the core of maybe what your worries are or something like that. But essentially you file, hopefully you file correctly. Hopefully you don't have some background hidden disability issues or removable issues. Other than that, you just wait to get the green card. J1234 asks, my parents' case is at the National Visa Center, all documents accepted 6 months ago, but no progress, still waiting. Yeah, that's what's happening right now. There's huge delays because the embassies are not really scheduling most interviews right now due to COVID. They're understaffed, so there's huge delays. 6 months is not an abnormal thing right now for many countries in the world. Srivani follows up, for I4A5 processing, I submitted my birth certificate that are in English, but I took the birth certificate after 20 years I was born. Should I submit affidavits for this? Yeah, this is a really important issue. It's a major problem. If your birth certificate was issued more than a few months after you're born, USCIS has gotten very strict on this, saying it's not an appropriate birth certificate, which causes you to have to find alternative documents, affidavits, school records, anything else that you can show what your name, date of birth is, your parents' names are, all that kind of stuff. That gap between your birth and getting the birth certificate issued, if it's too long or in mildly long, has become a major issue in all the cases I'm seeing. So be prepared to deal with that issue. We'll talk about a little bit at a free consultation. Uncle Plays Suitcase says, thank you, you're welcome. Jay Tojari asks, greetings, attorney. If I receive prima facie as the next step, VAWA, I don't handle VAWA cases, so I don't really want to comment details of that. This attorneys really just focus on that. But the Violence Against Women's Act is not a case my office handles. I'm hiring some people who have expertise in that maybe in the future. But as of right now for a Q&A, I don't want to comment on a case I don't handle. Fatima asks, hi, I'm willing to apply for N400 for citizenship, but I've had several trips outside the United States for less than 6 months, but my last trip was 10 months during COVID. Do you think I might be deported? No, I don't think I'll be deported. Now, I don't know enough about you, but these absences, especially over 6 months, are going to be a big reason for a denial. If you're outside for 10 months because of COVID, we have to show that you were really stuck because of COVID, but you still had a life here that you lost out on. So if you're working, you had a job here, you may have lost a job, at least you had a job. If you had a lease, a landlord-tenant lease, if you had a car insurance, we'd have to show that in those 10 months your life was really here, but you got stuck outside. And those absences of less than 6 months could be a problem too. If they're multiple 4 or 5 month absences, they'll say, where are you really living? Why are you being outside the US so repeatedly? Now, if you had a 1 month vacation here, or 2 week vacation there, that's not a big deal. But if you're constantly out for 5 months and then one trip for 10 months, it's going to be problematic. So you 100% need to talk with an immigration attorney to review it and analyze it to see how bad the situation is. But on the face of it, I don't think you're going to get deported or anything. But I don't know the full details of your case. That's why it's just general information only. I need to talk with you in private to see what's going on with your case. But you should talk with a lawyer before filing, not to waste your time and money if you have problems. IO follows up. My friend submitted an I-130 and I-130 for his wife since February 2nd this year, and he has a 10-year green card from his job, and they have a USA son born last year. What should he do after the I-130? I mean, he should hire a lawyer if he doesn't know what to do. So download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It has it all there. It's a PDF. It really just breaks it all down, but you got to do consular processing. That's the thing. And so, just better to consult a lawyer, but download the ebook first at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Read it, and you have more questions, then consult with an attorney to plan it out. But all this stuff, I have videos on this. I have like 10, 15-minute, 20-minute videos on all this kind of stuff on my YouTube page for JQK Law Firm, and I just spell out every part of it. So check those out, and then contact my office to schedule a full paid consultation. We're going to discuss it further. Barack asks, what's the timeline after an interview says it's been scheduled? Marriage-based green card. If they schedule your green card, you should be getting the notice a week or two later, and the interview should happen 2 to 4 weeks, 6 weeks later. So it's pretty soon. It just varies. It's not like a fixed thing. It just depends on a lot of factors. User Lisa Perez asks, can you get your license while you're in the process of waiting your green card? Well, every state is different for getting a license, so it's not one answer I could give. Generally, the Department of Motor Vehicle in each state wants to show you have proof of status in the United States. So you may or may not have existing status while your green card case is pending. So that could prevent you from getting a driver's license. Some states allow people out of status to get a driver's license, but they have different rules. So you need to look up and go to the website for your Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, or every state has a different name for it, and check out what their rules and regulations are. Most likely, you'll probably just need to wait until you get your work permit. If you filed for the EAD, the work permit, with your green card case, I don't know if you did. And once you get that, that could be used at the DMV easily to get a driver's license. But you got to wait. Those are taking a long time, like 8-9 months right now. So prepare for that. Maria asks, how strict is the clear and convincing standard for remarriage within 5 years? At the end of the day, these officers, there's no line. They just read it and it's how they feel. So I have every case I do, even for regular marriage cases, based on the highest standard personally, because I don't want to leave room for doubt. So how strict is it? It's not something I can answer. I need to see what's going on in your marriage, what happened with the previous marriage that you were divorced, what the new marriage is, what evidence you have about your relationship. So I wouldn't be looking at how strict it is. It really just depends on your case and how you show it. So just consult. It's 100%. You need to have a lawyer on this. So just get a lawyer. That's what you have to do when you have such a case like that. 29 Service asks, do you think if the budget reconciliation bill is passed in both houses and the Senate would assist in reducing the backlog since more staff can be trained and hired? I've talked about this before. I don't really follow what's going on in the government when it comes to this bills and stuff like that. I don't think it's a worthwhile endeavor to speculate on. It's kind of like watching a soap opera or that kind of stuff. It's like, it's drama, but normally nothing beneficial happens. They'll usually get hurt if anything. So I don't have any comments on what the Congress is going to do. User 288 says, is it easier for Canadian citizen compared to other countries to immigrate to the USA? It's not easier to immigrate, but it's easier to get a work permit, what's called the TN, the Trade NAFTA agreement. Based on that, now it's called I forgot they changed the name of it. But anyways, there's this visa called the TN visa or TN status, and if you're a Canadian citizen and you found a job in certain job categories and you have the educational experience background, it's easier for you to come and work in the United States. But when regards to immigrating, Canada and most countries of the world don't have a backlog when it comes to immigrating, like China, India, Philippines, Mexico, they do. So it's not one of those countries that have a backlog, but that's about it. The benefits for Canadians is that they don't need to get a visa to enter the United States. And also they have access to the TN visa if they want to get that for work. And Mexico has that too, but it's just a little bit easier for Canadians because they can show up at the airport and get that work permission. I'm a citizen. My sister is living in Pakistan. Can I apply for a visitor visa for her in this time? Well, it's a question I get every day. And the reality is you do not file for someone else's visitor visa. Each person on their own applies for a visitor visa and has nothing to do with you. So if I was your sister, I would go to the U.S. Embassy's website, read the instructions on filing for a tourist visa, submit it, hopefully get a visa appointment. Probably not going to happen because of COVID and being understaffed. And most likely her case can get denied because Pakistan has a high denial rate for tourist visas. But, if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. It may work. Not everyone gets denied. But that's what she has to do. It's not you apply for her, she applies for herself, and you pray that you get an appointment and you pray that it goes through. Now, I want to announce our winner of the our consultation. Fatima Trabak asked a question about citizenship. Just take a screenshot of where you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. And then when you email it to me, I'll reply with you for instructions on how to schedule the free video consultation, 15 minutes. And we'll have a blast there and we'll go over your case. For those just tuning in and watching live, for those live watchers, we give out free video consultations because you're tuning in and asking questions. One more left for this show. So just keep watching, like, subscribe, and write consultation wherever you're watching. And my assistant, Kayla, will announce the winner to me in 10 minutes or so before the show ends, and we'll get a free consultation there. And we have a lot of questions about the green card process, especially on marriage green cards. Download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Tons of information that can help you at marriageimmigrationlaw.com and get that there. But let's just jump back and go into questions. Barack asks, I submitted my original divorce papers with my application. Should I have gotten another one for the interview? It wasn't a good idea to submit originals. I would get a new copy. Now, if they keep your original divorce papers in the file, the officer will have it at the interview, but you never know with USCIS. It might have been a copy of it and mistakenly thrown away. So you should now get another copy of your divorce papers and bring that with you to the interview in case the ones you sent already are lost. Case asks, based on your experience, how fast is the processing of adjustment of status under the DV program? It varies. It's different for every case. So the speed, the things about timeline are so different. It's not a way to say it's this or that. Sribai follows up. I got my Social Security card along with my EAD, and Social Card says DHS authorization only. What does it mean? When you get a work permit and EAD card, you're limited in your work based on what type of visa you have or how long it is and all that kind of stuff. So when you don't have a full Social Security number or Social Security card too, based on having a green card or being a citizen, then it's always going to have this restriction on it. So the employer is aware that there's restrictions involved, and that's what that says. So once you do get your green card, you need to contact the Social Security office and tell them, hey, here's my green card. Please take away these restrictions. And they should issue a new card that has nothing written underneath, just the number on the Social Security card, so that future employers don't get paranoid and be like, why is you have a green card, you're a citizen, why are the restrictions on your Social Security number? You just need to get a new card. But essentially, it's to notify employers that this person can't just work anywhere at any time. There are restrictions for it. Maria asks, can my new employer file an H-1B while my green card I-130 is pending since June 30th? If you maintain status, yeah, you can file for an H-1B. I mean, it's going to be hard, and I'm not sure the timelines are, but technically, let's say it was, in January, yeah, the employer can file for an H-1B if you have an I-130 pending. But, I don't know what kind of case you have. So we need to analyze more what your I-130 is based on. Maybe you should have filed an adjustment of status if it was based on marriage or being a minor child of a U.S. citizen or parent of a U.S. citizen. I don't know. So I need to know more from your case, but that's the general idea. About golf laws follows up. Thank you so much. Thank you for the good advice and information. Without your channel, I don't know what I do. Thank you very much. Well, God bless you. Thanks so much for the kind words. Appreciate it. You may have done this already, actually, about golf laws, but if you or anyone else watching likes the show, just go on Google and type in JQK Law, and we're getting a lot of nice stuff on TikTok as well. And just leave a 5-star review of my firm, and you don't have to write anything. Just write 5 stars, or say thank you, or whatever it is. It helps me out a lot to have reviews, so I appreciate that. MRT says, hi, I've been over a year and a half trying to change from B1 to F1. How many extensions can I file? Well, they changed the rule on filing these extensions until your F1's approved. They just changed it last month. So essentially, you don't need to keep filing the B2 extensions. But Casal has been an attorney on that. I personally don't accept, B2 to F2, F1 cases to student visa cases on purpose because it was such a mess in last years. But this new rule that they changed where you don't need to keep extending B1 is really good. I haven't read into the details because I haven't started accepting these cases. I might now they listen. So I guess let me fill you in on people who don't know. When you come to the United States on a tourist visa, for example, you have a 6-month stay. But if you come and a couple months later, you realize, hey, I want to go to school in the United States, I want to apply for a student visa called an F1, you do a change of status from a B2, a tourist visa as a B2 to an F1. The problem is getting that approved is taking like 9 months to a year and a half right now. It's crazy how long it's taking to change from a tourist visa to a student visa. In the mix, the 6 months of time you had in the United States to be here lawfully ends. So what you have to do is, what you had to do was do a change of status in F1, and every 6 months also file an extension of your tourist visa. So you're just paying filing fee after filing fee, thousands of dollars, and you need to have there's a lot of problems because you need the F1 to be approved close to the time that your semester is going to start, because it takes so long for the case to be approved. A semester starts and ends, a new one starts and ends before you could do it. So you have to then coordinate with the school to update the I-20 in the system and see this and get updated. So it was a huge mess, and you can still do it, but I intentionally just want to file this because it was such a, so annoying. But now that they changed rule, I might start. But yeah, your question, how many times, there's no limit, and you don't need to do any more technically, but consult with an attorney, because I saw the headlines in the USCIS update that came out for this about, 2 to 3 weeks ago. But I didn't go into the details of it because it's not a case that typically handle. So I say consult with someone in private. IO follows up, when can I apply for citizenship if my green card from work was since December 30th, 2016? And how long does it take to become a citizen from your experience with people in Indiana? I can't talk about timelines for how long things take when it comes to once you submit application. So that's out. But if you became a green card holder on December 30th, 2016, add 5 years to that, December 30th, 2021, and then subtract 90 days from that, which is probably sometime in November, probably October or something like that. I don't know, October 1st maybe. That's about the time. So in a couple months. But you need to satisfy all of the other requirements for citizenship: physical presence, continuous presence, having a clear background, filing taxes. If you needed to, file for the selective service draft. There's a lot of different things we need to check. So I can't tell you to apply without reviewing all those kind of stuff. But I have a video about this. I'll go to JQK Law Firm. I've done intense videos for this question of how long it takes to file your green card for citizenship, naturalization, Form F400. I have a 15, 20-minute video where I completely break it down. So just go to JQK Law, type in naturalization. You'll see the video pop. Go to YouTube, type in JQK Law, and find the video. It really just goes in detail, so you can take care of it there. 123 says, thank you, you're great. Thank you, so nice of you. I appreciate that. Tiglo says, I-765, how long? I don't know, however long it takes. Edwin asks, my mom came as a visitor visa. She couldn't go back to her country because of COVID. I filed for a 6-month extension on May 28th, and she finally got a biometrics appointment next week. Does this mean we'll get extension and no issue with their visa? No, the biometrics is unrelated to approval of the extension. So biometrics is a technical thing you have to do as part of the process, but it has no bearing on when things will get approved, if they will be approved. That's based on other factors. Tanya follows up, good night to you too. I took your advice and called the embassy about my case, F2B, documented qualified March 2020. I was told that the embassy in Jamaica is not taking new cases from the National Visa Center. Another depressing answer. That's horrible. I'm sorry to hear that. They are taking, my colleagues are saying they're taking certain work kind of visas, like people that are athletes or coming to the United States for an event or something like that. But that's terrible to hear. And it's a problem that's happening in a lot of embassies, that they're not moving these immigrant visa, these green card cases forward. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's just all over the world right now. People are just stuck in place. And I'm sorry to hear that, Tanya, but hopefully things get better and we're done with this pandemic nightmare. Muhammad asks, can I apply for citizenship while I'm waiting for the I-751? Yes, you can. That's very important. I did a video on this because I saw another lawyer said you can. You 100% can file for naturalization from F100 citizenship. Again, I said this earlier, if you satisfy all the requirements for citizenship, you can file for citizenship while the I-751 is pending. I almost always file for citizenship for all my I-751s that are pending as soon as I can to avoid any delays. But so look into, and I talk with an attorney about it, but it's possible. Layla asks, I'm an F2A waiting for interview. F2A is either a spouse of a green card holder or a minor child of a green card holder. Waiting for an interview today. I received second 60-day notice. Any idea which dates they are on? Okay, so this person is probably overseas, and the National Visa Center, which tries to organize the paperwork for the embassy interview to get the immigrant visa for a green card, and start a process where they keep updating you every 60 days. Say, listen, we have your documents. We're just waiting for interview. And you're asking when it's going to happen. I don't have an answer to that. Just like we saw from Tanya from Jamaica, the same situations happen everywhere. Very few countries is not, where you got to wait until they start opening up and getting things going. Now, if you're a spouse of a green card holder, you're technically not on most of the travel bans, but everything's just backed up, unfortunately. All right, was that our last question so far? We're almost done with the show. Be motivated to ask. Actually, we have a bunch of other questions. I've been scheduled for a marriage-based adjustment interview 2 months from form submission due to an expedited request application. It's tough gathering evidence. What are your thoughts? I mean, you should have. I always gather all the evidence beforehand, so it's not tough. I don't know your case, so be more. I can't really answer that question. I don't know what's going on. Just get on top of it. Hopefully, you have a lawyer that's on top of it. I want to announce our winner for our raffle, Mr. T4282. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a screenshot of where you're watching this. Email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com, info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll send you a reply. I'll send you a link with the information for scheduling a consultation. So let's do a speed round and get a couple more in the last 2 minutes that we have, and we'll knock it out. So next question is, Layla asks, any idea which document card for work now? No, Layla, every case is different. Every embassy is different. So there's no answer of which cases they're working on at the embassy right now. Aquarian asks, what work permit time, how much it takes? There's no answer to timelines. Marcello asks, hello, I'm an adjustment status interview a week ago, but no decision. How long does it take to get a decision? There is no timeline of how long it takes to get a decision, but if it goes over a month and a half, then it doesn't look good. You should definitely consult an attorney in private. Jordan says, do you know if I can get federal financial student aid with a green card? I don't get the student aid questions, not immigration directly. Party says, how much processing time? Don't have an answer for that one. Anything with timelines, unfortunately, I can't answer. Leah says, everyone's saying that in July they'll make the interviews go fast, but they're still banned. Yeah, I don't know who everyone is. Everyone doesn't know what they're talking about. I'm not saying that. So don't listen to everyone. Prana says, I saw a video on YouTube. It says Texas Immigration Office is reduced processing times. Don't watch videos about processing times. If you're take away anything from my talks here is don't follow any of this garbage. They're going to do what they're going to do. Sometimes Texas is faster, and then a month later it's slower, and then another. So it's like, again, it's like watching a soap opera. It's meaningless. Just wait for your case to be done. You have no control over this. Last three. Naveen asks, sure, I got documents qualified. I didn't get interviewed. You have to hire a lawyer. It's up to you. You should always talk with a lawyer, but whether you hire one, I don't know. Marianne says, you are very knowledgeable. I've spoken to 5 other lawyers, and not many knew about 5-year concern. Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, it's in the statute, the 5-year part. It's doable. You just need to document it, and it's really luck. Are you going to get an officer that's going to hassle you or not? But if you're married, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, ideally, you'd wait a little longer. But if you are married already, just get as much documentation, not only for the new marriage, but also the previous one, so they don't call that one into question. So you want to document both, be prepared to get into both of them. Fatima asks, thanks for the show and the free consultation. I will not miss this opportunity. God bless you. Thank you a lot. And this one, just one other lawyer knew out of 5, and second one is you. Well, thank you so much, Marianne. I appreciate that. And then last question, who's going to be last question? Kayla. F2B is current, I believe, Tiny Mo, so it really sucks. The interview cannot be interviewed right now. Yeah, so F2B and F2A is current, so F2B is not current, but F2A spouse green card is current, meaning they could process the case. But I have cases where spouses of U.S. citizens, which there's no line for, are just not getting interviewed. I have a bunch of cases since last summer, a year now, they're waiting for their interviews. No interviews happening in Turkey and Armenia and a lot of other countries. If you're Russian, you're screwed the most. Russia has been one of the worst embassies. Now, we've been able to kind of get people to the embassy in Poland to help the Russians out, and maybe Kazakhstan to try to move around, but it's getting harder and harder to do that. So it's a nightmare. We're living through a nightmare in both the pandemic and the consequences in the immigration realm. But we'll just be patient. Hopefully this information helps you get some real talk about it. God bless you all. I'll see you all next week, 6 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday. I'm John Khosravi of the JQK Law Firm. God bless and be safe, everyone. Bye-bye.